Hi, this is Robbie with Tickner Photography again. Today I wanted to take a picture of a light bulb. I've done a similar picture before with a light bulb kind of floating in the air, but I want to do it again on video. Last time it was really difficult, I didn't have the right tools. This time I ordered a rheostat. It's kind of like a potentiometer. It allows you to dim a light bulb, which is perfect. I have my light bulb over here on the dimmer. I'm going to set up my A77 with a 100mm macro, and I'm going to shoot the light bulb straight on. This will probably be a 3-shot composite image, depending. The first shot will just be for the illuminated filament. The second shot will be to give the shadow of the glass or reflection highlights, something like that. And the third shot, I'll take the light bulb out, flip it upside down, and just take a shot of the bottom of the light bulb. And then in Photoshop, I can put it all together to make it look like a light bulb floating in blackness. I also might try a couple other variations, maybe to take the light bulb with a filament and reflection and then hold it in my hand like that and just have an illuminated light bulb in a hand. That could be kind of interesting, hold it up like an Olympic torch, I'm not sure. So let's get started and let's see what we can come up with. So I'm taking a bunch of pictures at varying shutter speeds. I don't have any strobes on right now, so I don't have to worry about sync. So I've basically taken a picture, almost bracketed, but not really, gone from 1/8 of a second up to 1/8000th of a second. And I'm probably going to stack them in Photoshop, almost like an HDR, but not really, just pick the points that I want and merge them together with layer masks. So now I'm going to start working on the reflection. I'm going to try a couple with natural light, a couple with strobes, and we'll see what that looks like. Trying to work on the reflections on the outside edge of the light bulb. I'm going to use a foam core to see if I can bounce light from the strobe onto the foam core and then have it illuminate the sides. Just experimenting right here. Alright, so I think I've got a couple images that should probably work. Now I'm going to take the light bulb out, flip it upside down, and take a picture of just the base, the screw part of the light, so that I can composite that together with it in Photoshop. And there we go. I think I've got the 3 composite images I need to have a light bulb illuminated floating in space. So now I'm going to take a picture of my hand holding the light bulb and maybe something else, I'm not sure yet. And then we'll meet up in Photoshop and see what we can do. Now we're into Lightroom. We took a ton of pictures, and here were the ones that I selected to composite into a single image. This is our composited light bulb. Let me show you the pieces that we used. Started out with a couple different filaments as it got brighter. So the dimmest one is just used for the filament. As it gets a little brighter, I started to include pieces of the filament holder. And then as it got brightest, I would include some of the base. Then I didn't really like any of my reflection or highlight images, but this is the closest one I could get. It just had enough of the outline that you could see it on black. And this was the base. So put those all together and you get this. We'll go into Photoshop in a second and I'll show you what that image looked like. So then I took my hand, this is just basically the image turned black and white, and in Photoshop I composited this light bulb on top of the hand right into this space and made that, which turned out pretty cool. I like this. So let's go into Photoshop and we'll see what these files actually look like. Alright, so now we're into Photoshop. I won't bore you with all of the details because it took a fair amount of work layer masking, but you can see the layers we have here are the dimmest layer we just used certain pieces of, Then as we go down, see this one we didn't use much of. This one we used the outline of. So I used a little piece of each image. The key was aligning them. I did the automatic Photoshop align, and that worked fairly well, but then I had to align them manually myself a little bit. Some of them, there just wasn't enough for Photoshop to figure out. And then the base, right here, I needed to add a couple adjustment layers because by itself it was too bright. It just didn't quite work. So I added a brightness and a curves adjustment layer, and that darkened it down to help it match. So then you'll notice I have all my layers. I always keep all my layers, so I work non-destructively with layer masks. So then I opened up my other image and I created a Control-Alt-Shift-E, a duplicate of all the layers merged, and then I dragged that onto my hand image. Let's go look at that one. And now we're in our hand image. There wasn't really much to do with this one. The hand I turned black and white and added some clarity to in Lightroom, then brought it into Photoshop. I expanded the canvas quite a bit because the original shot was a little bit bigger than that. Was right there pretty much. So I expanded the canvas. So my light bulb, which I drug on, which when I did was quite a bit larger, I had to scale it down and then mask out the base so it fit. Without it, it's basically what it turns into. And then I added a slight adjustment layer, just a hue and saturation to brighten up the filament just a little bit. And that was pretty much all I did. And I am pretty happy with this image. It's simple, but it's a cool fine art image. I call it grasping an idea, or something like that. So I hope you found this useful and it might inspire you to go play with a light bulb. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. Otherwise, like and subscribe. Thank you. Bye.